Well, as we look at this, Rivera hopes that the 3-inch reach advantage he has is going to help him maintain a distance in his fight. He wants to make this fight at long range. Now, this doesn't show one of the major differences, and that is Frank Martin being a lefty. We'll see how that plays out.
Rules for the main event. Only the referee can stop the fight. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell, and the fight becomes official after 4 completed rounds.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you, and we welcome you to the Chelsea inside the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas as Premier Boxing Champions presents the featured bout of the evening, brought to you by Man Down Promotions, TGB Promotions, Samson Boxing, and Showtime. Sponsored by DraftKings, this bout is sanctioned by the WBA, President Gilberto Jesus Mendoza, Supervisor Kina Malpartida, along with the Nevada State Athletic Commission. The Executive Director is Jeff Mullen. Introducing our 3 judges, scoring from ringside. From Nevada, we have Tim Cheatham. Also from Nevada, Dave Moretti. And from New Jersey, Steve Weisfeld. Presenting our 3rd man to the ring, he'll be giving instructions after the introductions. Introducing Kenny Bayless. All right, fans, here we go with the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing in a battle of undefeated rising stars for the WBA Lightweight World Title Eliminator. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas, it's showtime! Introducing to you first on my left, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white trunks with gold and turquoise trim. He is fighting out of Dallas, Texas, by way of Indianapolis, Indiana. He weighed in at 134 3/4 pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign in the ring with a record of 16 wins, no losses, 12 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the undefeated southpaw and world-ranked lightweight contender, introducing Frank the Ghost Martin. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. Wearing white trunks with black trim, he is fighting out of Miami, Florida, by way of Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. He weighed in at a ready 134 1/2 pounds. He also is undefeated in his campaign with a record of 24 wins, no losses, 14 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the undefeated WBA #2 ranked lightweight in the world, introducing Michel La Zarza Ali Rivera. Once again, our referee in charge now to give instructions. We have Kenny Bayless.
Okay, fellas, trunks are good on both sides. Gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room. Again, I want to caution you to obey my commands at all times, keep the fight clean at all times, and what I say you must obey. Good luck to both of you. Touch them up. Touch them up.
Veteran referee Kenny Bayless, 30 years of pro experience, working his 838th professional fight. Both Michel Rivera and Frank Martin ranked in the 135-pound top 10 by the Ring magazine. As such, this is among the best matchups of unbeaten young fighters in recent years. Southpaw Martin immediately goes to the body with the left hand. Of course, the battle of foot position will also be taking place.
Neither man's a volume puncher. Rivera throws 52 punches per round, Martin 53. And they both land almost the same amount. Rivera 16, Martin 18, according to Showstats. So, like everything else, there's not a lot to choose from.
talked about this fight being a chess match early on in the fight, and the reason for it, they have so many similarities in boxing style. They're both great counter punchers, great boxers. The timing is there on both sides. So I mean, I think that's what we're going to see in the first couple of rounds.
And Martin coming forward. Rivera trying to establish the jab, but being parried by Martin. Martin showcasing some defense early as well. Minute already gone here in the opening round. Again, a combined record of 40-0. Martin turns 28 next month. Rivera still just 24 years of age. The future is now.
Yeah.
And Martin unloading on Rivera, showcasing his speed and punch placement.
That was a great combination from Martin. He threw a right hand upstairs, went downstairs with that same left hand, and he saw an opening and he went with the combination.
You know, Martin is a certainly good offensive fighter, but he's only gets hit with about 7 punches per round. But mind you, that of course was against opposition not on the level of Rivera.
And Rivera's shown in his career he can fight at every range. Also has a good variety of punches, good endurance, and there's that long range, that jab, looking to try to establish the jab and take advantage of that 3-inch reach advantage over Martin.
And Rivera has great accuracy too, using that length, that height, that reach. But Martin making it difficult for him to land right now.
Again, Martin able to blunt the jab of Rivera.
Well, we'll take a look at what each man needs to do in our keys to victory. If Rivera lets his jab languish out there, Martin will land a right hook over it. He's known as a right-handed puncher, but he has a good left hook, and that could work against Martin, the lefty. But he still needs to get that right hand in. Most of his knockouts and knockdowns have been caused by the right. Martin wants to close the distance, but he needs to do it using his jab to pave his way in. He's a very good combination puncher. Sometimes doesn't do it enough. We might want to see more of that tonight. His right hook to the body and the head is excellent. He can double with that punch, and it would be very effective.
I warned him too. Okay. Be careful on the hook.
Michel Rivera working his 11th fight with Herman Caicedo. Rivera, of course, idolizing Muhammad Ali. Caicedo was Muhammad Ali's trainer Angelo Dundee's assistant from 1994 to 2001.
Yeah, he learned at his feet, and you know, we've made much about Derrick James, but Herman Caicedo, a very, very solid boxing trainer.
The referee letting them fight in the inside, and Martin taking advantage of those moments, working the body.
Come over that. Come over that. Remember what I told you to do when he's doing that?
When Frank Martin does have those moments on the inside, Abner made the point, and it's really true, he's got to take advantage of them.
She's uppercut after that. If the straight left is not there, you're going to dip it.
Derrick James to our right, bellowing out instructions to Frank the Ghost Martin. Would like to see the uppercut become a part of Martin's repertoire here. With a minute gone in the second. There's a nice left hand by Martin. Trying to turn Rivera. And there's a 1-2 from the southpaw that lands.
You know, Rivera is fighting smaller than I thought he would, and allowing himself to be hit with those left hands.
Martin opening up on Rivera. Martin has nullified the jab for the most part, Abner, and has been able to make hay with these shots on Rivera.
The accuracy, the volume, the calculated punches that Martin is throwing right now. I mean, it's just magic. And one thing that I'm noticing is that Martin is taking the jab away from Rivera.
That's exactly what I said, Al, that the fact that early he's been able to do that.
Yeah, and getting the distance, the right proper distance that he needs. And you know, we talked about the right hook, but we've seen the straight left from Martin as well.
And most of the time, you see the right-hand guy, you know, take the jab away from the southpaw. But in this case, it's Martin. Really smart.
Martin lands another combination upstairs and again neutralizing the jab of Rivera and landing another left hand.
Rivera is dipping down to his right instinctively, and that's where the left hand is landing.
And that's what James, the corner man for Martin, has picked up, and he wants an uppercut because of that. And now Martin beginning to continue just delivering these combinations to Rivera. 30 seconds left in the second. A good round for Frank the Ghost Martin.
Martin taking control so far of the fight in the second round.
He has relegated Rivera to just 2 punches landed in this round compared to 19 for Martin, utilizing his footwork, his speed, and his skill. And there is Michel Rivera's father, Miguel. We mentioned, Al, that they started watching boxing together right here on Showtime when his son was 14. His son always wanted to headline a fight here on Showtime, and realizing that dream tonight, and it looked like his dad was in, well, a moment of prayer there for his son.
That's not defense. That's not defense. You're staying straight on him. You're straight, nice and straight. You don't do that. Just keep jabbing and the right and keep moving him. Can't stand still. He's strong right now. Don't stand right in front of him. You need to box him.
Well, early on in that round, Rivera, look at how he's coming in and dipping down to the right with his hands low, and Martin's landing that straight left hand. Getting it in very well.
Round number 3, we just saw Rivera's father, Miguel. His parents wanted him to play baseball. He didn't like baseball. He prefers to wear 2 gloves instead of 1.
And he's done pretty good with the 2 gloves, for sure.
And he catches the punches really well, too. Now, Rivera is known to be a great counterpuncher, but he is not going to be able to do that against Martin. Martin is too fast, just, you know, too quick with his feet.
Martin came in as a slight favorite, ranked at number 7 on the Ring Magazine Top 10 at 135. Rivera right behind him at number 8. And of course, you talked about the embarrassment of riches. Undisputed champ Devin Haney. Gervonta Davis facing Hector Garcia in January. Ryan Garcia waiting for Gervonta Davis.
Now, there was the right hand by Rivera. John Hernandez, a terrific lightweight, who's the best fighter that either man has faced, put Rivera down with the right hand and fought well in the early rounds. Rivera starched him with the right hand. So the big thing is he's got to get that right hand going against Martin, and he started it just a moment ago.
Now what's happening is that Rivera is taking charge with that jab, taking away the jab from Martin, and he's able to land the straight right hand.
But now Martin comes back and lands a 1-2 from the southpaw stance.
Keep the body shot. They lied to it. He lost. Pop the stick in his face. Keep something in his face. Keep turning.
Derrick James wants Frank Martin to keep turning Ali and put that stick in his face. The quote from Derrick James.
The power punches, everything other than a jab, and of course Martin dominating, landing at 40%, which is where he often is in terms of his power punches, and Rivera not able to get his power punches in yet.
I mean, both having their moments, obviously a lot more from Martin, but I want to see Rivera walk to that left. He has, and he's standing right in front of Martin.
And if anything, dipping to his right, which you don't want to do against the southpaw. And you know, the temptation is Martin's such a good right hooker that you almost forget about the fact that he is a left and he's got a good straight left. You have to take that away as well.
Well, you could also set up the hook. I see he almost did right there with that right hand. Throw the right hand straight and hook him.
Reach it. Keep busting him over the jab, son. Right, good defense, good defense. Don't let that stop you. Do what you want to do. The defense, you'll stand up.
I mentioned that neither is a big volume puncher. They've thrown less than 40 punches this round.
Big night for both fighters. Big support from their respective families. Frank Martin's mother, Erica, his dad, Frank, and his sisters, Ariel and Destiny, all in attendance tonight supporting their family member in the biggest fight of his life. And again, turns 28 next month, willing to put it all on the line early.
Take it away from me. You stand right here like this, you know what to do, but you're not doing it. You know what you do, you just watching me, right? What's the juice on the lip? Listen, Frank.
If Miguel Rivera is going to be successful in this fight, look what he did. Double the jab and throws the right hand. That's exactly the blueprint of Rivera in this fight. And he needs to do more of that.
Round 4 scheduled for 12. In this battle between top 10 ranked 135-pounders looking to make the move in a division that is stacked.
And that was a great start for Rivera. He started with the jab. He saw an opening. He took the right hand. Now again, he's got to keep turn. He's got to turn Martin to the left.
And there lands the right, does Rivera. Martin fires back with the left hand. There Martin trying to blind Rivera and irritate him with that jab before landing the left. Referee Bayless rules it a slip.
You know, Frank Martin told us, I can fight from the outside. I don't have to be right off the chest of Rivera to win. And guess what? In these first 2 rounds, he has been at mid-range or outside and has fought very well.
Just past 1 minute gone here in the 4th, and a big edge for Frank Martin in terms of headshots landed.
You can't let Rivera get comfortable. Martin's letting Rivera get off first. If you're going to do that, best, come back with something.
And he does that with a left to the body. Minute and a half left here in the 4th frame. Rivera feinting.
For the first time, Rivera stepping to the left. Ebner's been calling for that the whole fight, and he finally did it. You don't want your left foot inside the right foot of a southpaw.
And that's where it is right now.
Been there most of the fight for Rivera.
Tap, and keep reaching.
Final 60 seconds of the 4th. And Martin's offense has definitely been muted. It has only thrown 14 punches in this round, landing 3. Meanwhile, Rivera's thrown 30, landing 6.
Yeah, Martin might be giving this round away just by being inactive.
Great jab so far from Rivera. Good start. Good, almost finished, 38 seconds. Now he's got to keep jabbing, but I don't want to see that jab to the face. I want to see a jab to the shoulder.
And now Martin coming forward, landing a couple of lefts, doubling up on the jab. Martin's corner wants him to go to the body. He does with the left hand.
There, jab to the glove, to the shoulder, and you throw that right hand.
Martin using angles.
Do not get comfortable. You're not doing what I'm asking you to do, though. I'm asking you to move your feet. When you reaching, he don't hit you with a shot you reaching on, right? So you earn that. You got to chop. Take your safe space away. It's all he gonna do. So you know what he gonna do. We practice this over and over. So you got to be the one
Well, lefties and righties, we talked about the footwork. They're trying to establish the front foot. In this case, the front foot was established by Martin, and it actually created that fall, even though it wasn't a knockdown, certainly, by Rivera. Martin, a very good body puncher, hasn't been in position to do as much body work as he wants, but look at that straight left hand downstairs. And exiting before Rivera can land that left hook.
Fifth round underway here at the Chelsea at the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas. And Frank Martin ratcheting up his offense to begin the fifth.
Rivera normally lands 45% of his power punches, everything other than the jab. He is landing at 28% tonight, so he wants to boost that figure.
And Martin is more successful when he lets his hands go a lot more. Add volume to those punches.
Doing a good job again of pairing the jab of Rivera. But Rivera timing it and landing the right.
If you're Martin, if you're going to let Rivera let go of that right hand, you got to come back with something. Counter punch.
Double jab by Martin, doesn't follow up with the left. Minute gone in the fifth.
Now Rivera is feinting more in the last couple rounds, and which is a good idea on his part.
And he's sharpshooting to the body with the right hand.
That was a nice right hand to the body.
Well, Abner, you said it would be a chess match, and you are correct, sir.
So far it has, and it's a beautiful sport, a beautiful style of boxing that these fighters bring in tonight.
And you know we're going to reach a point where there's going to be fireworks. It's just they're both trying to figure out the best way to get there.
Both promised to bring the heat. Both promised an action fight.
And I think it's going to be more from Martin's side.
Yeah.
Martin going to the body again with the lead left, followed by the right hook.
But depending on how these rounds are over.
Countered there by Martin.
And a left hook thrown by Rivera as he tries to counter. If Martin is doing better in these early rounds, though, it may be incumbent upon Rivera to be more aggressive. We don't know how these rounds are going. It's hard to tell, but it appears Martin has a bit of an edge.
The only reason sometimes Rivera is aggressive is because Martin's staying right in front of him.
This round very similar to the last in terms of their output and in terms of their connect percentage.
Yeah, these are close rounds.
There's Rivera being backed up by the left hand from Frank Martin. Rivera on the ropes. Flashes the jab. Oh, Martin misses with the sweeping left hook upstairs.
The one place Rivera doesn't want to be is on the ropes.
We wrap up the year 2022 tonight, but coming up on Saturday, January 7th, undefeated Gervonta Davis will face undefeated Hector Garcia live on Showtime pay-per-view. Showbox returns Friday, January 20th with a 3-fight card featuring 6 undefeated fighters. In the main event, standout American prospects Sean Hemphill and David Stevens clash in an intriguing 8-round super middleweight matchup. And then Saturday, January 28th, undisputed 154-pound champion Jermell Charlo defends all the belts for the first time against unbeaten #1 contender Tim Tszyu live on Showtime Championship Boxing. And we look forward to seeing Errol Spence Jr. in action next year. Right now he's watching his protege Frank the Ghost Martin. He says Martin's gonna put Rivera to sleep.
He's not a completely objective observer,
but he's a promoter in this instance.
Nonetheless, he's supporting his guy, and it's possible. I talked at the beginning about Frank Martin only lets fighters land 8 punches per round. According to show stats so far, Rivera's landing 6 per round, an average of 6 per round.
And see, I think Martin is the faster, quicker fighter.
Showcasing that in this round, Abner, you're right.
Yeah, and of both fighters, it is when he lets go of its hands of volume that, you know, has Rivera on his back foot.
But he's good at turning Rivera as well, utilizing angles, and that hand speed definitely becoming a factor for Frank Martin.
So he's got to continue to do that. He can't let Rivera get off first.
There is a basic theme to this fight, and that is that Rivera unwilling to move to his left against the lefty. It's either by design or he just isn't able to do it. And because of that, he's put himself in range for the straight left hand. He's also dipping in, and those are not things you want to do against the lefty.
Good combination by Rivera, using his length to land the right and the left on Martin. Martin, again, moving to his right, doubling up on the jab, following up with the left, and looking at total punches. Again, similar in terms of output, Al, but a big advantage for Martin in connects.
Exactly. You would expect Martin to maybe, you know, they throw about the same amount of punches normally, so that's kind of what they did, but Martin's landed better.
And he's using that fast jab, and there lands a couple of lefts upstairs on Rivera.
And the right hook to the body by Martin, if he starts getting that punch in, boy, this fight's going to turn to him in a big way.
I'm not going to lie, that reminded me a bit of Errol Spence in the inside.
Yes.
Now, Martin needs to let go of the uppercuts that Errol Spence is known for.
Yeah, that's a very good point. It was reminiscent of that.
Rivera reaching, he's got to be careful.
And Martin using the jab to close the distance. And Rivera trying to keep Martin at the end of his punches. 30 seconds left in the first half of this 12-round affair. There's a left that knocked Rivera off balance.
The interesting thing about Martin's effort in this fight, it is controlled and poised. He is not getting ahead of his skis.
Either he's too close or too far to get hit.
Yeah, good point.
We have reached the midway point of this battle of undefeated young lightweights.
It's coming, it's coming. Well, you're going to have to knock him out, so don't let it get to that point. You got to step it up. Let's go. Get your air, be nice and calm. Breathe. Right now we're in the half point. Now you got to start taking it back.
Frank Martin, the straight left has been such an effective weapon for him, and it's created that little nick underneath the right eye of Rivera. Now here's where Martin was guilty of a little bit of holding and hitting, or just a smidge, but really not that terrible, I don't think. Kenny Bayless gave him a warning for it, but I didn't think it was that blatant.
We begin the second half of our main event, round number 7, between the 24-0 Michel Rivera and the 16-0 Frank Martin. And Martin goes to the body with the left. And let's bring in our unofficial scorers, Steve Farhood. How do you have it after 6?
Mo, if Lou Duva were working Frank Martin's corner, he'd be saying, "You're boxing beautiful." I think he's dominating with good boxing, good feet, fast left hands. And the one round I gave to Michel Rivera, the 5th, was very close. So I have Martin well ahead, 59-55 at the halfway mark.
Double jab, left hand to the body.
That's
again and again.
Mr. Matt. 1 minute gone in the 7th, and it's been effective for Frank Martin. And they're just picking off Rivera with the jab.
Rivera's got to be careful because Martin is getting in the rhythm now.
And one of the basic problems for Rivera is he's standing in the pocket with Martin, and his right foot is on the inside of the right foot, or the left foot on the inside of the right foot of Martin. He's in exactly the right position for Martin to land those straight left hands, and Martin is obliging him.
Yeah, Martin 5G speed, Rivera more dial-up right now. They exchange in the center of the ring.
Now there, Rivera threw that nice left hook. He's got to crank that punch up at this juncture, or either that or land the straight right, but he should try the hook at least at this juncture.
Yeah, you're right, Al. I mean, so far Rivera has no answer to that speed that Martin is showing right now.
Under a minute left in the 7th. And Martin just out of range of that jab, and missing again is Rivera. And Rivera just single shots with the jab missing, and there's that footwork by Frank Martin. Just when you think you have him, he disappears like a ghost.
That's probably the one thing about Frank. Oh my!
And there the combination knocks down Rivera. He's tripped.
Hey, you okay? Come to me.
The second knockdown of Rivera's career. He overcame the first to knock out John Fernandez last year. The speed, the combinations, the power of Frank Martin on display.
All right, get some air. Okay, this is a fight. This is a fight. Now it's a fight, okay? Now you have to go for it. You have to go in there and start swinging. You haven't given him anything downstairs. And if you're not going to do what I'm telling you, then you just got to fight then. You're not doing what I'm asking you to do.
Martin is able to crank up. He starts with the left and then throws the right hook, but it was the straight left that did most of the damage in that combination. We'll look again, and this is the punch that, look where Rivera's head is, off to the right, lunging in with the straight right hand, and because of that, he got hit with it.
Yeah, he put himself out there. It was a beautiful counter punch by Martin.
Yeah, and corking. That straight left followed by the right. Rivera goes down for the second time in his career. And you heard Rivera's trainer, Herman Caicedo. Now it's a fight.
Now I think it's a mistake in this round because Martin's going to be waiting for those openings. Rivera has to be more cautious now. And do what you're supposed to do against a southpaw. Move to the left.
Exactly, but I mean, it's basic, and he's not done it the whole fight.
And again, Rivera gets tagged by Martin.
Neither man has been 12 rounds in their career, but we're getting to the point where that may be academic. Martin is taking control of this fight, and it's going to be up to Rivera to do something very dramatic to change it.
There's another left hand to the body, popping in and out. The fancy footwork, the hand speed, the combinations, downstairs, upstairs. Frank the Ghost Martin putting on a clinic at the expense of Michel Rivera.
Now you want to keep throwing that left to the body. Throw it once, throw it twice, and then surprise him on top. Change it up.
Rivera's missing with the right hand because he's not in the right position to throw it. It's very simple.
That is exactly it.
Correct?
Plain and simple.
Easy for us to say at ringside. I'm joking. You're absolutely right.
I can say that, believe me.
You can say it.
He can say it for sure.
But it's true, and again, the fact that it's controlled chaos in a way, that he's caught with Rivera. I mean, Martin's coming at him from every angle, up and again, going to the body, tagging him upstairs, and leaning to the right.
Talk about a definition of being technically sound. Martin is showing just exactly that.
The angles out, the footwork.
You're right, Mauro. That's one of the things in this fight that could be lost in the power and all the rest of it. But it's the way Martin's moving.
And you know who else is lost? Rivera with that movement.
Yeah, right.
He is lost. Martin let go of his hands. He turns, and Rivera, he can't do anything.
The cliche is iron sharpens iron. I guess that's true for Frank Martin, making the move to Big D, working day in and day out with unified welterweight champion Errol Spence Jr., undisputed 154 champion Jermell Charlo, and of course gets to sit under the learning tree of Derrick James. And it is paying dividends in this, the biggest fight of his career, as he continues to put it on Michel Rivera. And there is the truth. And Rivera's father, Miguel, may be, calling 911 for backup at this stage? I mean, it's a tough night for Rivera, guys.
Obviously distressed.
You cannot get comfortable. You cannot walk into anything. So you're trying to shoot the straight right, and he's gonna mix up a little bit. He's gonna shoot the hooks. The feet are what's keeping him off balance. And remember, you ain't got to keep going the same way. You can mix him up this way, this way. Keep him turning, keep him turning.
Good work by Derrick James. Telling him don't walk into anything, don't become complacent or comfortable. Using the right hook to set up the straight left hand. And there's the jab. We talked about him using the jab to get on the inside, but that's a counter left hand. So Frank Martin has delivered the left hand in multiple different ways. And, he's known more for power in the right hook. The left hand's been big for him.
When the fight was first announced and leading up to it, Rivera was, in fact, the favorite.
Yes.
But coming into fight night, Martin was a slight favorite, and well, he's proving to all of us why.
I guess there's a reason they call that smart money, huh?
And I mean, you can't blame people for thinking that. I mean, Rivera's coming off a recent fight 2 months ago. He's got he's got more fights than Martin.
Yeah, on paper,
of course, the experience is there.
But
and now Rivera opening up with a combination.
Yeah, and it's incumbent now upon Rivera, obviously, to change something in this fight. And it would start with moving to your left and either throwing the straight lead right hand or cranking up some hooks.
Meanwhile, it's Martin who's moving successfully, utilizing the defense and continuing to score.
Martin is going to start to walk Rivera down.
And again, blocks the jab of Rivera. High guard for Martin.
And the words of Derrick James being acted out by Martin. Don't get risky. Don't do anything that will cause you to get hit with a big shot. Continue what you're doing.
Yeah, you told him not to reach, exactly. But when he does, he makes up for it. Every time he misses a punch, he comes right back with another punch to make up for that last punch.
And there's the last punch of that combination, a straight left for Martin that again lands, and again moving to his right, utilizing the footwork, not staying in front of Rivera. Meanwhile, Rivera continues to try to establish the jab, but there's a right hand that lands.
Martin sparred with Quentin Randall and also Kenneth Sims Jr. Very good guy to spar with for this fight, and that also, I think, benefited him a little bit.
Under a minute left in the ninth.
Why did Jerry Perez, who fought both these men, say Martin would win? How about this? He said his footwork is better.
Yeah. And more ring savvy, of all things, despite the fact that the more experience was for Rivera.
Yeah.
But we're seeing that savvy on display. Look at that, the slip and the rip by Martin.
You hit it on point, Mo. We are not just saying it. It is in display right now for everyone to see.
And Martin's lightning quick hands backing up Rivera. Laboring on the ropes, trying to go to the body with the right, but he's been bedeviled, he's been befuddled, and he is being lit up here by Frank the Ghost Martin with less than 10 seconds left. Rivera, for the last couple rounds, been relegated to single digits in terms of punches landed.
Okay, this is the 10th round. Open your legs. Let's go. Keep your hands down. Tell me. Let's go then. You have to knock him out. Knock him out. Go for it. Go nice and intelligent after the jab. Nice and strong. You have to take him back. Don't let him keep throwing it downstairs.
Frank Martin using the jab to work his way in, and there's the straight left hand right behind it. And then he throws that beautiful combination, which included his patented right hook, which we haven't seen as much as we would normally see from him. But why? Because the left is working.
Round number 10 scheduled for 12. Herman Caicedo in Rivera's corner saying, we need the knockout. Rivera does have a 10th round knockout. No knockouts past that.
And as I mentioned, neither man has actually gone 12 before, but right at this juncture, with a fight being fought at this pace, it's not a crazy pace. That shouldn't impact Frank Martin in a negative way, you know, in terms of hanging on to what he looks like he's built here.
And in terms of that, you know, not being a fast pace, not, you know, it's been an exciting matchup.
Yeah, it's been very interesting.
Yeah, despite not a lot of offensive output by other fighters, been very good pace, and you're right, set by the tempo of Frank Martin. Nice counter left hand, pops Rivera in the face, and then goes downstairs, does Martin with the left.
And watching the performance of Frank Martin is the thing that has made this fight fascinating. It's just been so superb and so beautifully crafted.
Used beautifully, exactly. And I know we are, you know, being hard on Rivera for not walking to the left.
Yeah, right.
But you also gotta give Martin credit.
Absolutely.
For doing the opposite, doing the right thing, which is move to your right.
That's right, and there he just did it. So he's made it a little more difficult for Rivera.
Yes.
Our problem is Rivera's not really trying to do it.
Martin told us that he would have an edge with the speed and the power. That's proven to be the case, and also with his ring IQ, and he's showcasing that as well. Meanwhile, Rivera unable to get much of any attack going.
At this, I'm sorry.
No,
Ron.
please, Al.
I apologize. At this juncture, Caicedo's telling him one of the things that could work. He's trying to use a jab, and he said you got to come with the right hand after it. But he's got to put himself in better position to land that punch.
Under a minute now remaining in the 10th. And Frank Martin doing a good job of avoiding much of Rivera's attack and then making Rivera pay.
The moments that Rivera had, you know, with chance, or he was doing something, is when he was throwing that jab. When he took the jab away from Martin and he was throwing his own jab as he tried right there. He's attempting, but again,
has done a great job of blocking, parrying, nullifying the jab, and making Rivera pay.
I think Rivera did the wrong thing in trying to jab him to the face. Jab to the elbow. To the shoulder, I'm sorry. Jab to the shoulder.
Well, we've talked about Martin's defense, and a lot of it, look, he slips again, he moves away, and where's he going? He's going to his right to get away from the right hand of Rivera, and you know, that's just great work. And then what does he do? He comes back with a combination of his own.
You got to adjust your shots. If you keep throwing straight shots, you keep dipping, throw the jab, he's dipping. Bam. You keep throwing straights because he's dipping it straight. Dip, bam, bam, boom. Short shots on the inside. If you're not going to dip it, just if you're here, shoot it straight. If you keep dipping your shot, you keep going over his head. Stay composed, and keep it focused. Do not relax. Do not relax. Hold.
In case you weren't sure, that's what the Trainer of the Year looks like. Derrick James, animated, always in giving out instructions, and Frank Martin and Michel Rivera entering uncharted territory. Neither fighter has been past 10 rounds, as you alluded to, Al.
Yeah, and right now, Rivera needs, in a place he's never been, to make something very dramatic happen. It's been quite a year for Derrick James on every level.
And it's been quite a night for Frank the Ghost Martin.
And did he ever give the right instructions? He's saying that Rivera is dipping his head to the ground, and he is.
Yeah.
And now, if you're Martin, you want to uppercut, want to throw the inside punches.
He was dipping it to the right all the way through the fight. Now he's even dipping it on the, straight away.
And according to our unofficial score, Steve Farhood, Michel Rivera has managed to win just one round on his scorecard. That was in round 5.
Walk him down by the stick. Keep the jab popping. Watch the straight line and uppercut.
There's Rivera again, pot shotting. Right hand to the body, and there's that jab. Lead hand for Martin. He continues to turn Rivera.
You know what's really kind of crazy in a way? Jackson Marinez, who we had in our last fight when we saw Frank Martin, got more done offensively against Frank Martin, ironically, than Rivera has in this fight. And that's, Marinez is not on the level of Rivera. But it's just been a very disappointing night, for Rivera.
Oh, left uppercut. That Rivera withstood. Marinez and Rivera both from the Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic's Hector Garcia moving up in weight and taking on Gervonta Davis in January on Showtime pay-per-view, but with just over a minute left here in round 11, Michel Rivera needs to dig down deep.
Martin is just having fun right now.
And counter left hand scores for Martin. In every facet of this fight, it has been all Frank Martin.
Rivera is there to be hit, and Martin is definitely taking advantage of that.
And Al, as you mentioned, and everyone throughout the night, he's showcasing maturity. Frank Martin, the IQ, footwork, speed, combinations.
Yeah, it's been just a superb performance.
Swelling under the left eye of Michel Rivera.
And the thing that's important to note is that Michel Rivera is a very good fighter, and he's having all these problems.
Yeah, made to look average tonight by Frank the Ghost Martin. 12th and final round is coming up.
Let's go. Last round, Michel. Keep the hands up. Keep your hands up. Nice and calm for this last round. Listen to me. You got to go out there with everything. Even if they kill you. You kill him or they kill you. Don't let the referee have him stop the fight.
Take the pace up, walk behind your jab, use your feet, and pick up the pace. Shorten the shots up on the inside. Bump up, and when you're doing this, step to the side and hit him. Step to this side and hit him. You right in front of him. Don't get it.
Approaching the 12th and final round of this PBC round as they enter the center of the ring for round 12.
Two young guns, both undefeated, both ranked in the top 10 of the Ring Magazine's 135-pound rankings. Made it to the 12th and final round, and for Michel Rivera, he has to find a way to land, well, that game-winning punch, because he's going to need it.
And Michel Rivera has really good power in his right hand and has hurt people with that. He's scored a number of very good knockdowns and knockouts with it. He's going to need to do that if he's going to have any chance of winning this fight.
And meanwhile, Errol Spence Jr., Martin's promoter, exhorting him to close the show here in the 12th. And I just noticed Martin wince a little bit when he threw that left hand. Whether it was just momentary discomfort, we shall see, but he did react a little bit.
Interesting.
but I'm not a doctor and I don't play one on TV, so.
Weren't you and Marcus Welby?
Come on, man. Come on, Frank. Put the pace up, Frank.
See, what happened today was that Rivera kept doing the same thing over and over, leaning to his right.
Well, but Martin is throwing the left hand, so continues to go to work using the jab.
And interesting that Derrick James really asked for that jab in this round.
Less than 90 seconds remaining in the fight.
Rivera doing a bit of reaching there.
Frank Martin double jab upstairs and goes downstairs quickly with the left hand to the breadbasket. Final minute of the final fight on Showtime Championship Boxing this year.
I like the fact that Martin never forgot about the body in this fight. Even in this last 12th round, he's throwing beautiful straight right hands to the body.
Making it a night that Michel Rivera would like to forget. 40 seconds left. Frank Martin.
Martin got a late start in boxing. In his short amateur career, he was superb, and he's made the most of his years in this pro sport, and now he's on the precipice of a big move.
He has comprehensively outclassed a classy fighter in Michel Rivera, both undefeated.
Yeah, you gotta applaud the performance from Martin tonight.
Frank Martin on the verge of recording the biggest win of his young career. Michel Rivera about to taste defeat for the first time. These two go the 12-round distance. Many here at the Chelsea on their feet.
That's a happy family for Frank Martin, and why wouldn't they be?
And boy, you know every city's going to claim him after a performance like this. Born in Detroit, moved to Fort Wayne, then to Indianapolis, now lives in Dallas.
You're right. I was thinking about that earlier. He's had 3 different stops, and they're all happy to have him.
And a statistic that just screams out at us. Frank Martin landing 126 headshots compared to just 38 for Rivera.
And you know, Rivera only landing 31% of his power punches. Normally he lands 45%. This man made that happen, and we'll look at the numbers, and you see Martin landing those body punches that we talked about, and him landing at almost 40% of his power punches, and with a dramatic edge in total number of punches landed. We said neither man was going to be a monstrous volume puncher. They weren't, but Martin making the most of the punches that he did land. We'll move inside the ropes and see this fight in microcosm, and what you're going to see is superb ring generalship and a great technician at work. Now there's the left hand by Martin. Coming into this fight, we thought the right hook might be his main weapon, but it wasn't. There is a good right hook to the body. It was the straight left from Martin that was continually on display. He did it to the head, he did it to the body, and it was just constant. There was never a moment where that left hand wasn't working in this fight, and he did it as a lead left hand. He did it after the jab and through good combinations as well. And Michel Rivera, who, as we said, a world-class fighter with a big skill set, couldn't get it done tonight, Abner.
Yeah, Frank Martin just demonstrated everything that everyone's been talking about, and that is that he is a phenomenal boxer, puncher. I mean, just speed. You saw everything tonight being worked for Frank Martin.
And during the course of it, Abner, he kept his poise. He never got ahead of himself.
And one thing that really impressed me is that body work that he did, even towards the end of the round. Frank Martin just kept ripping to that body, that, you know, so just professional with the punches.
And for Michel Rivera, and you've been in the ring and had a disappointing night. A 24-year-old, undefeated, who came in here and on paper looked like he was the favorite early, though that money shifted to him, and he just couldn't get it done. Let's send things to Jimmy Lennon Jr. for the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Dave Moretti scores the bout 117 to 110. Steve Weisfeld sees it 118 to 109. And Tim Cheatham scores the action 120 to 107. All three in favor of the winner of this WBA Lightweight World Title Eliminator, and still undefeated, Frank the Ghost Martin.
Frank Martin continues his streak as an undefeated fighter, dealing Michel Rivera his first loss as a professional. Abner, nothing to pick apart for Frank Martin.
And not just any loss for Rivera. I mean, he got worked in that fight. I mean, let's see how he recovers. Either it makes him stronger or it breaks him.
Great effort by Frank Martin, and Mauro Ranallo. We'll talk to him now. Mauro?
All right, thank you very much, Al. And for everyone in attendance tonight, let's hear it for both these young guns willing to put their O's on the line, showcasing their wares. And for Frank Martin, my man, you've just entered your prime. You turn 28 next year in January. And tonight, you comprehensively outclassed a fellow undefeated fighter, both ranked in the top 10 at 135 pounds. How do you feel about your performance tonight, and why did you make it look so easy?
That's just what I do. But nah, I felt good tonight. It was some things that I seen in there that I didn't capitalize off, like certain opportunities, but you know, we went in there and got the job done, and we got the W.
Talk about the relationship you have with Derrick James throughout the night, in between rounds, giving you incredible instruction, and not only giving you the right instructions, but you were able to then carry out those instructions. And what you've been able to accomplish now in Dallas under the tutelage of unified welterweight champion Errol Spence Jr. with Man Down Promotions. I guess it's true what they say, iron sharpens iron.
That's right. Well, in the corner, Derrick was just telling me to, you know, stay on the outside, work the game plan, look out for the right hand, because that was the main shot he was trying to land. So look out for that right hand, use my legs. Could have did it a lot more, you know, but what we did tonight, you know, it worked for us. But, you know, it's a lot of room for improvement for us to get better, and we're going to keep working.
Want to take you back to round 7 when you became just the second fighter to knock down Rivera. So take a look and take us through this replay, Frank.
Hey, that's right there. Protect yourself at all times. You know, like we say, we believe in man down. He got caught slipping, you know what I mean? He went down.
Why did you agree to take a fight of this magnitude so early in your career, where many young fighters will take those soft touches, build the resume, and even maybe secure a trinket before looking for the bigger fights? You were willing to put it all on the line tonight. Why?
I just believe in myself. You know, I believe in myself. I believe in my team. You know we doing outside of the gym. I mean, when we in the gym, we working consistently. Outside of the gym, I'm doing my own work. So we believed in it, you know, and we just believe that we ready for any of the top fighters. So, you know, give them to us. Let us get them. We ready to eat.
How important is it for you to be in the gym with the unified welterweight champion Errol Spence Jr. and the first undisputed 154-pound champion in Jermell Charlo?
It's a blessing. You know, they keep me going. You know, I'm always watching, looking at Errol, looking at some of the things and the shots that he throw in the bag when he's sparring. You know, I'm always asking questions. You know, I'm always looking to get better. So having them around me and just seeing them, you know, champions on top, you know, I'm getting nothing but game from them.
You passed the biggest test of your career with flying colors. It's an embarrassment of riches in the lightweight division. I know you want to celebrate this win and enjoy it, but any talk of what you want to do next? Can you shed some light on who you want to call out next?
Give them all. We want them all. You know, we want them all. We can get Gervonta Davis. We can get Devin Haney. We can get any of those top guys. We ready. You know, I see Rolly in here. Rolly, my guy, we can get it in too. Let's make it happen, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, a sublime performance tonight for Frank the Ghost Martin. Congratulations, Frank. Happy holidays. Back down to you at ringside.
Thank you, Morrow. He will enjoy the holidays, to be sure. Well, how was this victory crafted in terms of all the numbers? And we're going to go to our unofficial scorer, Steve Farhood, to look at the judges' scorecards and his own. Steve?
Al, three of the best judges in the world worked this fight, and there wasn't a particularly hard one to score. Dave Moretti gave Rivera 3 rounds, Steve Weisfeld gave Rivera 2 rounds, and Tim Cheatham had it a shutout for Martin. As far as my card goes, I had a 119-108. I gave Rivera 1 round. Comprehensive total domination by Frank Martin.